Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 8th, 2025 meeting of the Fitchburg Zoning Board of Appeals, in which we think it will be spring, and yet we received snow this morning. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I do. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify yourselves for the record now by standing and stating your name and city of residence. Seeing none as usual, because FATV takes care of that for all of us, I am now going to ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode, including my own, so that way we may all enjoy each other's company today. We're going to open this meeting by standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Talbot, would you please lead us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Talbot. Much appreciated. So we have a full agenda this evening. I wanted to note 2 points of interest at the beginning of the meeting. First of all, we have on the schedule for this evening the 1341 Rindge Roads matter. I quite remember that over the past few months this matter has not been on the agenda, but that there have been a number of people who have either appeared or who sent comments wanting to make a comment on this matter. And I do want to ensure everybody that there is going to be a full opportunity for anybody who wishes to make a comment on that matter to make that comment this evening. So we do have 4 other reviews scheduled ahead of the agenda. And they are ahead of that matter because they are likely to take less time than the 1341 Rindge Road. However, we did have a request from one applicant, and that is on 34 Granite Street, to be called promptly at 7 p.m. due to a medical issue. So whatever is going on at 7 p.m., we will be calling that matter and waiting until that the board's action on that matter is concluded to continue. And I ask that everybody be understanding about that interruption. All right, with that being said, I am going to start with the first case on the agenda. That is ZBA 2023-12, Mina Gabriel, that is 219 Highland Ave. This is a review of the special permit under Section 181.94 of the City of Fitchburg Code to reinstate the Variety Convenience Store in the existing pizza store, requesting a modification to hours of operation under the special permit pursuant to Section 181.313, located in Residential B. Now, on this matter, today we received a request from the permit holder for continuance, which I'm going to read into the record. Hi, Mercedes. Good morning. I'm so sorry. I need to ask for another time because I have a family emergency today, so I'm not going to be able to go to the hearing. Mercedes asked, what's the time frame you are comfortable with next month, May 13th, or longer than that? The response was, you can do longer as much as you can, please and thank you. Mercedes stated, okay, I will pass your message, but having a time frame is always helpful. Hope everything goes well with your family situation. Thank you very much. Okay. So is anybody here in the public here to speak on that case? And I am going to go now to our remote attendees. If you do wish to speak on this or any other case, please raise your hand remotely. Seeing none, I am going to remind the board that this was a granted special permit, that the outstanding condition that has not been fulfilled is the submission of an engineered parking plan, that we did allow a modification to hours a number of months ago, and really the issue is that the convenience store can't be opened until that engineered parking plan has been submitted, because that is the outstanding condition. I ask any board member if they have a comment, and if not, we'll move on to a suggested rescheduling date. Go ahead, Mr. Gallagher.
No, I do not have a comment.
Okay. Mr. Byrne?
Moving on.
Moving on, Mr. Reynolds?
Same.
Anyone else? Okay. Then, because this applicant continually appears before us, and it is a matter of a few months, I would believe, to get a parking plan, and given that it's not been submitted, I don't think they've made any attempt to do so. I am going to suggest that we put this matter out to the September meeting. So I'd be looking for a motion to continue the review to the September 23rd, excuse me, thank you, Mercedes, September 9th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. That matter is continued to September 9th, 2025. And Mercedes, if you could also remind the applicant that if they could get the parking plan in, then we could conclude their matter and they would not have to continue to appear before us. Thank you. The next matter on the agenda is ZBA 23-37, Carol Carey's, 167 Canton Street. This is the review of a special permit under Section 181.33 of the City of Fitchburg Code to build a three-family townhouse-style building to replace a pre-existing nonconforming structure with the same footprint and use after fire, pursuant to Section 181.94, located in Residential C. Welcome to the meeting. You're welcome to sit in the chair if you would like.
Okay.
Okay. And can you just state your name and city of residence for the minutes?
Yeah, Paulo Caires, Leominster, Mass, 71 River Street. That's our address.
Great.
Hello.
Thank you. Welcome to the meeting. So why don't we start by you giving a summary of where the project is right now for us?
I'm about 90% complete now. Wishing to try to get it done by the end of the month. And I was hoping to see if it could just be rescheduled for complete on the next meeting.
Okay.
I did have some delays over the winter. I couldn't show up at the last meeting, I'm sorry. But I'm getting close.
Everybody has delays in their work over the winter, except for the inside work, and then sometimes even then. Have you had to make any changes from the conditions or the plan?
No.
Okay. So from your point of view, you've built it according to plan?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to just comment generally before going through the last decision that the project is looking wonderful. It is a vast improvement over the building that was there previously. The parking off-street is separate and adequate for each unit. And I'm just so pleased with the work that you've done on this project. So thank you for that. And thank you for the contribution to the city. So I'm going to review the conditions, and you can tell me whether or not you're meeting these conditions.
Okay.
Number one, the dumpster not to be overfilled and emptied regularly. Number two, the site to be kept clean of trash, construction debris, and overgrowth during construction.
Okay. Yeah.
All construction vehicles to be parked off-street and not interfere with the flow of traffic during construction. Were you able to do that?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah. Parking.
There's a condition relative to the demolition of the old building that we don't need to worry about anymore. You've stated that you've constructed substantially according to the plans dated November 29th, 2023. There's no more than 3 dwelling units constructed on the property.
Correct.
Okay. No more than 3 bedrooms per unit.
Correct.
We did not grant you any additional dimensional relief, which means that you must meet the setbacks that were depicted on the plan when the as-built plan is submitted at the end of the project.
I think I have updated that. I think the as-is has been updated on the website
Okay?
with the building in.
When we get through the conditions, I'll ask the building commissioner to confirm that the as-built has been submitted, since he is here. All the exterior decks are to be comprised of engineered building materials rather than pressure-treated lumber, except for the structural elements. I think that are the decks constructed except for the handrails and the balustrades?
And then the PVC that goes over the whole thing. Usually leave that for the last, very last.
So it doesn't get damaged during construction? Yeah. Any conditions imposed by the planning board through its site plan approval shall be incorporated as a condition of the special permit, and you said you've complied with the site plan? No certificate of occupancy to be issued until the board has issued a finding that all special permit conditions have been met. Now, we have a condition that the permit will expire if the conditions have not been approved within 24 months of the date of the vote. So the original approval was on January 9th, 2024, so you have until January 9th, 2026 to make sure you've complied with all conditions.
Okay.
Okay? And then again, we noted that you can schedule an early review by request if you believe that you've been done with the project and all conditions have been met. So when we finished with questions, I'm going to come back to you about when should we reschedule you before the board, since you're 90% done.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything you wanted to add before I move to question?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to go for public comment first. Is there any member of the public here who would like to make a comment or ask a question on this matter? Seeing none, I am going to go to our virtual attendees. Please raise your hand if you would like to make a comment or ask a question on this matter. Seeing none, I'm going to go to board members. Mr. Reynolds?
Thank you. No questions at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Byrne?
No, I'm very impressed with the property.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Mr. Talbot?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add that I was out at the site today, and I was extremely impressed with the work that had been done. The applicant was gracious enough to take me on a tour of the building, and it's just first class all the way. Very much in favor of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Appreciate that. Mr. Commissioner, has the as-built plan been submitted?
Madam Chair, yes, there's a thread on the OpenGov system between yourself and Mr. Cares from March 9th. If you don't mind me reading it into the record.
I don't always remember the things that I enter on OpenGov, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. What was written is, Paolo, thank you. The right side yard setback is slightly under what was approved, 16.8 feet rather than 16.47 feet. But as a practical matter, you're still within the allowed side yard setback of 15 feet. The front and back are compliant, and I agree that the foundation is substantially compliant with the approved plan. Overall, the building looks like it's a great improvement. Please review all conditions on the site plan and special permit decision as you complete construction to ensure an easy final review. Good luck with the project.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I fully stand behind that comment that I made.
Okay, thanks.
So again, it was a little off from plan, but not substantially. And certainly you did not, you were not into the required side yard setbacks. So the fact that it was a little bit off, under a foot, did not matter.
Okay.
I do, however, want to have the project completed before the final review and approval happens. So you said you should be completed within about a month. I don't want to have to bring you back here twice. So I'm going to suggest that we schedule you not for May, but for June. And the June meeting is June 10th, so it's earlier in the month.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would be here on May 13th. So, understand? Do you understand why I'm saying it would be a better idea for us to just schedule for June 10th rather than have you come back in May and tell us that you just have a little bit more to do?
I'm actually, I didn't even say it's a month, your next meeting, but I'm thinking to get it done the end of this month. So that gives me an extra 2 weeks. I'm pretty confident I can get it done. Because I just realized that my occupancy is pending on that,
It is?
which means until that next meeting, which will be in June, I won't be able to get it rented until July now.
Right.
I was under the impression that this would be going to be done through the building department, but I guess I have to come back to the meeting, which is only scheduled once a month, so.
Yes. And like I said, I don't want to have, there's a balance between having the extra month delay versus the time waste of being here for a meeting when the building is not done.
Okay.
So, will you appear at the next May meeting whether or not the building is done
Yeah, well,
in person?
yes, I didn't show up at the last one because I thought I talked to Mercedes. It was a miscommunication, an email and never got sent. But yeah, I'll definitely be here.
Okay. So even if it's not done yet, I would like you here in person for that meeting since we're going to schedule it based on your representation that you're going to be done.
Okay.
All right. I'd look, unless there is another comment from a board member? We're going to, just because we need to make sure all our communications are open during open meeting, the question was, is it occupied? Is it presently occupied? Are there people living there right now?
No, no.
Okay.
No, it's-
Mr. Gallagher, you were inside. I think you
It's
can.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Without other comment, I'd look for a motion to continue the review until May 13th, 2025.
So moved.
I will take that as a motion as second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? None? We will see you in May. Good luck finishing the building.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And again, thank you for the very fine work that you've done on this project.
Thank you.
Right. Our next matter is ZBA 24-26. This is for 76 Summer Street. This is for Mr. Olanrawaju Oyeranbi. That is for review of a special permit under Section 181.313D3 of the Fitchburg Code to operate a Class D driving school pursuant to Section 181.94, located in the Neighborhood Business District. All right.
Good evening.
Welcome, sir. Back to the meeting. Good.
Evening, everyone.
Yes,
evening.
thank you. FATV likes us to make sure that the microphones are nice and close so that everybody can hear the discussion. I know I'm a violator of that, but I'm trying.
Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and city of residence or business for the minutes?
My name is Olanrewaju Oyarombi.
Thank
You can call me Larry.
you.
City of business is Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we had issued a special permit to you to operate a driving school at the medical building on Summer Street.
Correct.
And there were very few conditions on that. We were just looking for an update after you had started operations. Have you started operations yet?
Yes,
What was the date that you started?
November 5.
Okay, thank you. And how many students have you acquired?
Till dates, there are about 15.
Wonderful. And do you have any employees other than yourself?
No, just me.
Okay. And during your permit application, we discussed the fact that you would be doing most of the teaching either in the classroom or the in-car instruction would be on the roadways and neighborhoods,
Yes,
and is, of course, regulated through your state licensure, right? But that there would be a limited amount of parking instruction taking place within the parking lot of that building, correct?
correct.
And is that what you are currently doing?
Yes, it is. I've also acquired as I was instructed, I've also acquired the safety caution cones
Yes.
to demarcate whenever I'm doing instructions within the car park.
Wonderful. That's exactly the question I was going to ask you. Are you conducting the instruction on the left or the right-hand side of the building as I'm looking at the front of the building?
If we face the front, I'm on the left, where there's plenty of space at the upper left side.
Okay.
It's usually empty.
Okay. It is, I don't observe a huge number of cars parked on that side. And has there been any objection from other tenants or from the landlord to your doing that?
As a matter of fact, they've got me students.
Wonderful. That is excellent. Have you run into any concerns expressed to you for any part of the business that you are running, either the entrance and exit to the parking lot by your students, or occupying the number of parking spaces, or any kind of concern like that?
No concerns whatsoever.
Okay. So are the 15 students in class at one point in time altogether?
No, these 15 students are categorized as young, old, and middle-aged. So some just have a few classes, they go for their road test, they pass, and they move on. So currently, I'm just beginning to put together the in-class schedule for early May.
Okay.
I only have about 4 students registered now, so when we're set, that's when we'll do the in-class learners education.
Great. Do you also do the remedial education for persons who have violated motor vehicle laws and are instructed to take a remedial class?
I can do it, but I have not done any yet.
Okay. All right. So with that, what I'm going to do, like with the last case, is I'm going to review the special permit conditions, and you let me know whether you're in compliance or whether there's been any issue. Okay?
Sure.
So number 1, we just talked about, when conducting on-site parking instruction to driving students, the petitioner shall set apart and mark out with safety cones an area appropriate in size and location on the lot to conduct driver parking instruction and safeguard the public from unintentional personal or property damage by the student drivers. And you've been doing that?
Yes, I have.
And no student has damaged another vehicle while undergoing instruction on the property?
Not at all.
Excellent. Sometimes can't be helped, but
Oh, I make
Glad
sure.
to hear petitioners shall use no more than 3 vehicles for instruction of student drivers.
I have only one.
Thank you. And you are to request a review hearing before the ZBA if you do acquire more than 5 employees for submission of a parking plan for the premises in consideration of modification in addition of special permit conditions. So that is something where if you are very successful, and we hope you are. We hope to see you back here, but we will need an actual parking plan, which we did forego during the special permit decision. All right. And then the last condition was the date of review last month continued to today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I go to public and board comment?
Nothing to add right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any member of the public who would like to make a comment or ask a question on this case? Seeing none in person, is there any person present here virtually who would like to ask a question or make a comment on this case? Seeing none, I'm going to go to the board. Mr. Reynolds?
Thank you. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Byrne? Mr. Talbot?
No, thank you.
Mr. Gallagher?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. And I am just pleased that you're up and running. Sometimes we have businesses with state licensure and we approve the thing locally, but then it takes a while for the state licensure to go through. So I'm glad that you've been open. I hope you'll be very successful in your business, and I hope we'll see you here back when you have 5 or more employees.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, I'd like to look for a motion to approve the review without further review
So
hearing.
moved. Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, your review is approved. You do not need to come back to us, but you are subject to recall if we have a report of a violation of condition. And again, you're just reminded that you do need to come back to us if you do acquire more than 5
More than
employees.
5.
Okay, good luck with everything, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
You.
The next matter on our agenda is CBA 23-40 Travis Beauvais, 180 Main Street. This is a review of the special permit under Section 181.313D12 of the Fitchburg zoning ordinance to occupy and operate and exhaust an auto repair business pursuant to Section 181.94 located in the downtown business district. Welcome to the meeting. As you know, you're welcome to sit at the table. If you want to stand, you're welcome to stand. Can you please state your name and city of business or residence for the minutes?
So Travis Beauvais and doing business in Fitchburg, Mass.
Okay, welcome back to the meeting.
Thank you.
So as you, I hope, remember, because I feel at points that I'm the only one who remembers this, we had a concern regarding the parking plan for your lot.
Yeah.
And the issue was whether the parking plan was appropriate given the fact that the traffic pattern, and particularly the entrance and exit onto Boulder Drive, had changed since the date of that parking plan, which I believe was by Monty Tech when they were intending to occupy the building.
Okay.
Okay? And we had asked you to seek a review from the police department, traffic division, and then from engineering as to whether or not any modification of your parking plan was required.
Okay.
Did you speak to either of them?
I did not. No.
I just want to note that I know you've been absent from a couple meetings,
Yep.
and I appreciate when you communicate that, but please do try to be present when we have a review scheduled. So at the last meeting that we had on your matter, I had reached out to both engineering and to the police department, and I did get a response from the police department, who did take a drive down there. They did not believe any modifications were required to that entrance and exit, but they wanted engineering to verify that. I have not received a response from engineering. Mr. Commissioner, I'm just going to ask whether any response. And I did reach out to them a few times. So we don't have what I would really prefer to be an acknowledgement that there's no change necessary. And I wanted that acknowledgement before you striped the parking lot, because I didn't want you to have to stripe the parking lot twice.
Understood.
Yeah. I am not the only one with an opinion on this matter, and I think there are some divergent opinions on the board. So I'm going to have a discussion of what to do on this issue before we take a vote on it today. But I do expect that you're going to be required to stripe in some form that parking lot, okay? So I'm going to go, really, that is the only thing that is outstanding in the conditions. And that's been issued on the last number of decisions. Every time we have a decision, that's the statement on the decision. We need this issue resolved. We direct you to go and try to resolve it.
Yeah.
Okay. The other conditions were no exterior storage of junk motor vehicle parts, inoperable or unregistered vehicles, not to be operated as a public nuisance, property to be kept clean of trash, debris, and overgrowth. Your hours of operation, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week, still staying within that?
Yes.
Okay. Professional signage only, the striping of the parking lot, the dumpster to be stored inside the structure or inside a screened and gated enclosure at the rear left corner of the property. I did see the dumpster out on the right-hand side of the property. Is
Yep.
that where you leave it out to get picked
No,
up?
so it was only out so they could empty it. So I have a fence going up in the next couple weeks, so it will be stored on that side of the property, which we had originally discussed in the original proposal. So on the left side, facing the parking garage property. So in the next couple weeks, that fence will be built and it will be stored inside there. I did have a construction dumpster outside on the gas station side, which was just removed from the construction that was going on. As far as now, I do have a rollable dumpster that I roll out the backside of the bay so they can empty it. Otherwise, it's stored inside. And I literally just got that dropped off last week.
So
I
right
just-
now, you're just leaving
Yeah,
it
they
out to be
emptied it
empty?
this morning, so I had to put it out over the weekend, so that way they could empty it.
Okay,
Yeah, but it is being stored inside for the meantime.
okay.
And if it is outside, it is padlocked, so nobody can throw anything in it. But yeah, I am keeping it inside.
Great, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And then there's a sunset clause upon transfer of ownership, and you are still the owner of the lot and the business?
I am, yes.
Okay. And that, are you holding that under John Fitch Exhaust and Repair LLC?
I am, yes. As far as the sunset clause, while we're talking about it, you know, obviously I like the trade that I'm in. I enjoy what I'm doing, but I expressed this last time.
You did.
I don't want to do this the rest of my life, right? At some point, I'd like to retire or sell the business property and move on. You know, I would like to see if that's something that we could get removed from that, because based on everything I've gone through, just to get this up and running, and this is my second time around doing this, I would like to have that availability and not deter somebody from being able to sell or move on. Because at that point, what do? Do I call it quits, close up, and make the property look condemned as I move out of state and as it's listed? You know, I just think it's easier to bring more people into the community if they have the availability to know that they're moving into something and they don't have to go through a year or 2 years of zoning things, you know, to take over a business. I think it's just more inviting and easy to make things happen in the community without being, you know, stuck, being able to move forward. So that's something I would like to either be able to have lifted or on another review, but, you know, essentially lifted would be great, just based on my experience in the history of what, you know, other properties I've had. I think it just really helps to, you know, create more opportunity.
So I think I expressed this to you at the last meeting as well, because we did have a full discussion of this issue. Motor vehicle businesses are under special permit for a reason, and that is because they have a tendency, when operated poorly, to create a nuisance to the community and the abutters around them. And the purpose of the sunset clause is to ensure that the operator of the business, whoever that may be from time to time, has come before the board, is aware of the conditions imposed upon operation, which basically constitute, please don't be a nuisance or bother your neighbors. That is the pure essence of every condition that is imposed within this board. Don't bother your neighbors.
Yeah.
The procedure is really very simple. When you want to sell or transfer your business, you have the buyer come in and ask for a transfer of the special permit. In that way, that buyer has a public acknowledgement of what the conditions are to operating that business within the community. And that's, the way that we balance the interests of private property owners and private business owners with the residents of the community. I will certainly go around the board and take everybody's comment on this issue, since we're here for review today.
Yep.
But that is mine as one board member.
And-
And I have no ill will towards your business.
Yeah.
I hope you are very successful. And everything that I have heard about you and the operation of the businesses that you've had is that you operate a clean business and you operate it well.
Thank you.
So that is nothing specific as to you, sir.
No, and I understand that. And my biggest thing is whatever I think at that point in time I listed for, I think it's obviously going to attract the right person because I don't think the amount is going to be cheap. So with that being said, I think whoever's investing in that is going to obviously want to know that they can operate sooner than later, you know what I mean, based on what it would be selling for and the way I operate and run things. I don't think it's just going to be somebody who's just going to open up a business overnight and have low expectations of what they're going to be doing. They're going to spend X amount. So at that point in time, I think they're going to want to know for what they're putting up or what they're going to be paying. They want to know that they're going to be able to move through quickly and operate. That's the way I see it as, not being on the board, as an outsider and seeing a lot of the way things kind of, happen in the town. I don't think it's too much to ask for. Again, I know you're going to go around and ask everybody's opinions on it, but I think that's going to deter a lot of people, because I know what I've had to go through in zoning meetings, and if I'm about to drop X amount of money, I'd probably walk away, probably wash my hands of it. It's just too much involved to know that where I'm putting my money is going to actually happen. Am I throwing it away at that point? I just think I'm investing in the community. I would hope the community would invest in me based on what I'm asking for down the road. I think that goes a long way.
I'm going to push back on you a little bit on that. You were granted the special permit to operate on March 12th of 2024. You've been able to operate, since the grant, and the issue that we have been waiting for a determination on over and over and over again is this issue of whether the parking needs to be modified due to the change in the traffic pattern.
So-
And every time you come here,
Yep.
you tell me, oh, do I have to do that? No, I haven't done that. No, I haven't asked somebody. So I would not agree that the long delay is due to anything, although I'll say I have asked and I've been a little, I was very pleased with the police department's response last month.
Yep.
Once I reached them, they were very responsive. I do wish that we'd had a response from engineering. I've been asking since, I believe, October.
Yeah.
But from your testimony, you have not asked.
And I'm telling you.
That's on you.
It is
It's not
on me.
this
So,
board.
not to interrupt you, so as far as being granted to open, you actually allowed me to open, it was June or July. So I started this last December. So, we're going, by the time, I don't know when the last meeting will be, but a year and 3 months. So it was literally 8-9 months before I could even open this place. So I'm paying over $10,000 a month to heat it, paying all these other bills, and I couldn't do anything with it. So it was a lot longer, than March. So I wasn't granted to open in March.
So
I don't
I
even
would-
think I was seen till April.
I would suggest in
What
the
the delay is.
future, what we see most of the time, and I would hope that most prospective purchasers, developers, business owners undertake to do, is to enter into an agreement whereby the obligation to pay rent or pay the purchase price goes through when the permitting has been allowed. Otherwise, you are not adequately protecting your own rights, and I would certainly hope that anyone looking for that does seek the appropriate legal counsel to do so. At this point in time, I'm going to go on to seeing if there's any public comment or board comment. I'm going to ask your question, and we're going to discuss a resolution on the parking issue. So, okay. Is there any person present or who would like to ask a question or make a comment on this matter? Seeing none, I'm going to go to our virtual attendees. Anyone want to ask a question or make a comment on this matter? We have none. Mercedes, do we have any city communications on this matter? Okay, thank you. Mr. Reynolds?
No questions for the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Byrne?
No, just a statement. I think you made it very clear as to why we want the sunset clause kept in the conditions. And I would never expect anybody to wait that long again, because once he has the parking lot striped, a new owner would come in as it would be a turnkey operation, so he wouldn't have the long time wait that this fellow did. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Byrne.
Thank you.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes. Mr. Buffet, do you own the lot?
I do, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Talbot. Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I was able to go out and look at the site today, and the owner had taken me on a tour of the garage and the land outside. And I just want to say that I'm really, really pleased at what I saw. The inside of the building, obviously, there's a great investment made in it. As far as the parking lot goes, it was very clean. He showed me where the fence is going to be and where the dumpster is going to be moved to. And I just think that his business being there is a great asset to the community. We certainly had a similar business when Montori was there, and when they left, I think it was a loss to the community. So I'm happy to see him operating there again. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Otherwise, I'm going to go to deliberations between the board.
Oh, good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And I will add that I agree with Mr. Gallagher as far as your renovation of the building. First class.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. There are two issues I would like to have the board offer any comments on. Let's address the first one. Is there any member inclined to remove the sunset clause from the special permit?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot? Okay.
No.
Okay.
However, I do agree that the challenge of any applicant challenging the board relative to cycle time from beginning to end is a fair challenge. I like the protections of the sunset clause, but I also accept the challenge of the time to move through the process.
I agree with Mr. Byrne that I think most of the time issue will be satisfied once this permit holder completes. We should supposedly have another business owner come in and simply comply with the conditions. Unless there's an issue where something has fallen into disrepair or something along those lines. Mr. Gallagher or Mr. Talbot, do you want to expand upon what your inclination is or why?
I would like to. And I'm going to ask for your help on this, Christine. I guess I need to understand the way the clause works a little bit better. I'm looking at it this way: if he has a potential buyer and he's up and running, I would be okay with the sunset clause if the new applicant would come before us and would agree to all the conditions set forth, as he has, without delay of starting the business, if that could be somehow worked into the situation.
So in other words...
Simplify it, simplify the clause is what I'm saying.
Mr. Talbot, did you want to make any further comment or explanation?
So when somebody runs an auto repair business and it turns into disrepair or it becomes unsightly or whatever, what is our recourse with the applicant, to the person that's running the garage?
So
Would we not have more leeway with the landowner?
well, this is not, and we did have another case, which you may remember, where the owner of the business and the owner of the property was the same person. And what we did was modify the condition so that it would apply to the property owner, with the property owner acknowledging that they would be responsible for the actions of the business owner, even if it wasn't them.
Can we do something
And-
similar to that here?
So we could, and that would mean that there could be a sale of the business without sunset of the special permit, but that the property owner would be responsible, and if the property owner changed, there would still be a sunset.
It would be on the property, not the business.
Right, right. Back to you, Mr. Gallagher. I do take your suggestion of a way to simplify the process, but still have that new business owner acknowledge the terms and conditions. If we used both solutions so that we had responsibility for compliance with the property owner, but allow the business to transfer the special permit upon appearing before the board and acknowledging compliance with the special permit conditions. That is something that we could resolve in one meeting, which would decrease the time to any business purchaser. A new property purchaser would still have to come back and ask to transfer the special permit. Would both of you be inclined to such a proposition?
Yes.
I'll come to you in a second. Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Burns?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Commissioner, comment on that.
Madam Chair, I wanted to maybe throw out a third option.
Sure.
A middle ground option. Thank you for recognizing me. What if the chair and myself and my office worked on a form template and to be agreeable and brought in front of the board at a future meeting, and have, for this case and future cases, instead of having this condition with the sunset clause of that they have to come back in front of the board and acknowledge it, instead put in a condition stating that a future owner of the business or transfer of the special permit would have to affirmatively sign the form approved by this board and file it with the property file within my office, so that there is or record it at the Registry of Deeds, if you want to go to that extent. That way there's that affirmative aspect without holding up the project to have to go for a public hearing, costing the applicant the $300, then us having to do all the newspaper postings and have them come to a meeting, which could be a few weeks to a month. This could achieve that same exact intent within a matter of days.
It's a good thought. I'm not sure that it achieves the same end, because all of the time we get people in here who say, I didn't know that I signed that, I didn't read it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But in that case, you still have that they signed it and it's recorded. So then my office can take whatever enforcement is necessary to enforce those special permit conditions, as you've seen with the two other properties that we discussed that this board asked us to take enforcement, and we are in court tomorrow on one of them.
I'm glad to hear that. Let us put this aside for a moment, because I want to determine whether or not we're going to have one more review hearing or not. And if we are going to have one more review hearing, we can put some time and thought into a written version of this discussion. And if not, we're going to need to come to a conclusion tonight. Okay. I'm going to note that it is 7 p.m. I am going to extend no more than 5 minutes this discussion, and then we're going to be calling CBA 25-2 on 34 Granite Street. The other issue is on modification of the parking plan, whether the parking plan is appropriate given the change in traffic pattern. I have certainly made my concerns public a number of times, and we've gotten the response from the police department, and I very much appreciate their actually going down, driving the exit, and then giving me a call back. I'd like to hear anybody else's comment on a resolution of that issue. Mr. Reynolds?
Well, it seems like we need a plan, input from engineering or the applicant would be appreciated.
Yeah. Mr. Byrne?
I'll go with the idea of having that plan done by engineering. They were requested over a month ago to look at it, and I can't believe they're that tied up that they haven't been able to get down there, which is only like 1,000 yards from the city hall. So let's wait for them to get down there. I think they're going to agree with the police, and he'll just have to have it striped as it is. But let's give them a shot at it.
Okay. Mr. Talbot?
I'd like to remove condition 6.
Mr. Gallagher?
It's a tough one. I'm certainly happy the police went out and took a look at it, and I have a level of confidence in that. I know that that parking lot worked perfectly for Montori, and his business is very much the same as how Montori was running it. I also feel that if it was a big issue for engineering, they would have contacted us by now instead of going all this time. I could go either way on it. I know that isn't much of an answer, but
I know.
I thought it's my honest thought, you know.
We're operating with imperfect information.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Mr. Commissioner, there's just no response from engineering on this issue at all?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. A comment was made to me by the police officer who went down and did the drive-by, which was given the date of the plan. At that point in time, the traffic pattern had not been changed, but the plans were already in place from the state with DPW, and that when that construction was done, if that's the opening that was there, there would have been a modification at that point in time, most likely, if it was needed. And I prefer to have an actual full answer on this. But we have been asking for this, like I said, I've been asking for it since October. And we have instructed the applicant to ask for it since last summer, at least. I would really like to bring this matter to a conclusion. I don't want to bring the applicant back before us multiple more times, and I don't want to set a bad precedent. But I think given that we have a plan, that we have at least some response from the traffic division of the police department, and it was a plan that was approved, I am willing to accept the plan that was submitted with the application so long as the permit holder stripes according to plan. Striping of the plan is one of the existing conditions. That, I believe, it's number 6. That's for the striping. Mr. Talbot, you said you just want to remove that entirely, or just that you want to
Well,
accept
from
that plan?
what I understand, the plan that was submitted, the striping plan that's on there, does not work for what he has for his business.
Is that correct?
It's the Mount Wachusett plan is what you're talking about,
So it
which
was-
would completely not work in that lot to move around and operate. They were obviously teaching classes, what they planned on doing. So it's not the same as running a full-on automotive business. So the movement's not going to work. What I had proposed the last few meetings I had come in was to restripe the existing lines that are already there, that have been there since the property was built back in '69, which has seemed to work all those years. Mount Wachusett proposed a plan, but never actually did anything or executed it. So it was never really put in place, it was never really tested to see how it worked or didn't work. But as far as plowing the property, maneuverability in the property, that's going to put a huge constraint on being able to actually get things done. I mean, it's an open lot. Again, if you go down there, you can see the stripes are still existing. They're fading. I have no problem with repainting them in the order they are, the handicap spots where they are, and making that work, you know?
But you don't have a plan that depicts the parking
So
layout?
I haven't found a plan that not Mount Wachusett, but Montour would have submitted. But as far as I can remember, that's the way it's always been. So I imagine there's going to be some kind of record of that. I know when I came into City Hall and had talked about what I wanted to do, the proposed interest in that property, basically, I was kind of told that I had to use Mount Wachusett's plan to get this going, or it was going to be delays. So it wasn't even a plan I wanted to use, but it was the only thing that you guys had on file. So for me to put the application in, I had to submit it.
Well, or you could have had a plan drawn.
I could have, yes.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, it was winter and there was snow on the ground. So to have an exact measurement, it would have been tough because I first filed for this in December.
Right, but we've had over a year since then,
Okay.
and you don't have a plan.
I don't have a plan, no.
Would you get a plan? Would you have a plan?
So at this point in time, if that's the only way to move forward, I'll spend the money to get a plan. I think there's money, that money could be spent in other places, cleaning up the property based on the way the parking is and the fact that it works. But if that's what you want me to do, then that's what I'll do. I just don't understand why it has to be changed when it already works and it's been working for so long.
You're proposing a different plan than you submitted the petition with, and, well, and you're proposing that we approve something that we don't have a plan for. It's a little difficult to do that. I'm going to go to the building commissioner next
Okay.
because he had his hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to note the mayor reached out to the engineering department, to DPW commissioner, and just
good.
forwarded me his response.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
So he wrote, "There's supposed to be a no left turn sign at the curb cut that dumps onto Boulder and another one up on the Main Street side. But from what I remember of the plan, I saw an open gov last. It looked fine."
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I know everybody's busy, so, thank you. That helps me tremendously. Because at a minimum, we can approve the plan from 2017 for Mount Wachusett without concern about the traffic division. But you're saying that doesn't comply with your business operation.
It's not going to work, no. I don't have the plan in front of me right now, but based on when I looked at it before and when it was submitted, I think there was like little curb cuts and islands and all kinds of things. It makes no sense. You can't operate there. At that point, I might as well either pay for a new plan or call it quits in that location and start looking somewhere else.
Well,
And walk away from the investment.
I don't know that the cost of a plan should cause you to do that.
I'm just saying those are my alternatives because I can't use that plan. That plan is
Mr.
not going to
Gallagher?
work.
You know, I agree with the applicant. It's a totally different use. He's using it as it was used previously with Montori, not in a teaching environment. So, you know, maybe there were safety things for students and crosswalks and stuff. I don't know. I'm not too
Yeah.
familiar with the plan, but I would
It is
assume it's
something like that
something
on
like
those
that.
lines, yeah.
Yeah, for student safety. How would you feel about having a site plan, a
Yeah, if
parking
that's-
plan
if
for how
that's
it
the-
currently is?
If that's the only way to move forward, that's what we're going to have to do.
Is that a good compromise for everybody?
I think we've agreed in the past that there's plenty of parking there. It's not so much of a space issue.
So I think we're going to need one more meeting, because I think the proposition is, and if you want me to vote out your removal of paragraph 6 separately, we can do that, Mr. Talbot. But I think the proposition is to lay it back at the feet of the applicant and say, you're welcome to stripe according to the plan that you submitted, or you're welcome to submit a new plan that we can accept, and then you're going to stripe it.
Yep.
So I think in between now and the next review meeting, we can address the issue of the sunset clause and hold a vote on that at the next review meeting. I would normally expect that it would take 2 months to have you draw a plan or stripe the parking lot. So I would probably be looking to continue to June 10. But let's take Mr. Talbot's motion first. If you would like to make a motion on the modification of the special permit, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to remove condition 6 of the special permit.
Okay, thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
Rob, do you want to remove it altogether or amend it? In other words, do you want it striped or not striped? In other words, the touchy point inside there is in my opinion, it's the reference to the plan. I'm going to just call it the Monty Tech plan. The Monty Tech plan doesn't work. We shouldn't be asking to do a Monty Tech plan. I'm on board with that. At the same time, though, it should be striped and it should be a safety, no left turn here or there. That's just kind of common sense, too. So
And
my question to you is...
he's
should
agreed
the
to
whole thing
stripe
be
it, so.
You know, are you saying don't stripe it?
No,
Or don't
just
go by that?
not according to that plan.
Right.
Okay. So is striping required? So it would be, if I'm correctly stating the motion, to strike the words according to the September 1st, 2017 proposed parking layout from the condition.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? Mr. Gallagher?
I would be in favor of removing 6 also if the applicant is willing to stripe it, the parking lot.
Okay. All right. Any other comment?
Question. So to stripe the lot, to repaint the existing lines with the existing plan, I could visually see that by walking down there or going to Google Earth. I am listening to the comment about the no left turn is just, the whole point of this, right, it's a safety point, right? It's,
I did that today. It was a little hairy coming out.
yeah. So I think just those, the intent of this is to get that just established without being onerous.
Would you take a modification of the motion that the condition read parking spaces to be striped and no left turn painted on the parking lot for the Boulder Drive entrance?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And resecond the motion as modified. Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready to move to vote if everyone is done with comment. Ms.
This
Reynolds?
is on the single issue of the modified.
Single issue of the modification of
Sure.
condition 6.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of the modification as proposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right. So that passes. Great. Then I'd like to have a motion to continue the review to June 10th.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll see you June 10th. What I hope to see is that the parking lot's been striped. We'll
Yep.
resolve the sunset clause issue.
Yep.
And then we can conclude our hearings
Okay.
and send you
So-
away.
We're going to stripe it to what's existing, right?
Striped, it just requires that it be striped and that the Boulder Drive exit be marked, no left turn?
No left turn.
No left turn.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Obviously, I can't speak for the customers of the gas station taking left turns out of there, but that's not a problem because it is a shared driveway.
Not your
Yeah.
responsibility.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I'll make sure it's painted.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you, sir.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
As I stated at the beginning of the meeting, we are now going to call ZBA 25-2, Jeffrey Gleefort, 34 Granite Street. This is a continued hearing of a special permit under Section 181.332 of the Fitchburg zoning ordinance to convert the use of a nonconforming three-family structure into a four-family dwelling without increasing the structure's footprint pursuant to Section 181.94, located in residential C. Gentlemen, welcome to the meeting. Attorney Carponi, welcome to the meeting. I understand that there was some late day back and forth between yourself and the building department. You had made, and I'm not going to speak in any specifics, but Attorney Carboni made a request for reasonable accommodation that we hear you at 7, which, close. That we had amended the agenda on Friday to note that there would be a request to continue this to April 24th. We were looking at the possibility of not making quorum. Even today, we have a meeting where Mr. Reynolds was not present at the last meeting and is not going to be able to vote on this matter. And so you would be faced with 4. We also like to keep all of the board members here for a matter. I understand that there was a late amendment of the agenda. We did, permit your request to be heard, but that doesn't change the facts that we were going to call this and have a motion for a continuance voted on. So I am going to do that now. If the motion fails, then we will proceed with your hearing. If the motion passes, then it will be April 24. Okay? So for the reasons previously stated, I'm going to ask for a motion to continue this matter to April 24, where the planning board has kindly allowed us to use their alternate day.
So moved.
Do we have a second on the motion? No. Okay. Mr. Gallagher? Okay. All right. So that motion does not pass or get voted on because we do not have a second. So therefore, we're going to continue with the hearing at this point in time. At the last meeting, and you have a request to convert a 3-family to a 4-family. And this was a matter which had appeared before us in 2021 and been denied. It's my understanding that the prior applicant and prior owner illegally modified and built the 4th unit and then sold it to you, sir. At the time that you bought it, the 4th unit was occupied, but you did not renew the tenant's occupancy once that tenant left. You then applied for the modification for the special permit, which I just want to say I appreciate that you came to the city with the issue.
Of course.
At the last meeting, we asked that the building commissioner be permitted to conduct an inspection to see what happened and what was needed as far as the building went. Mr. Commissioner, you conducted that inspection?
I did, Madam Chair, and
Okay.
I believe Mr. Gallagher was there with me at that inspection as well. And thank you, Mr. Clifford, for letting us into all the different areas. For the board's information, if the chair would allow, the building is built as a three-family. What was the original intent and approval was that the second floor was all going to be one unit. And so there's plumbing for a three-family, there's electrical for a three-family, the sprinkler system is designed for a three-family. The only thing that's designed for a four, because it doesn't make as much of a difference, is the fire alarm system, because it wouldn't make a difference 3 or 4 in the way it's laid out. But otherwise, it was all designed and built as a three-family. At some point, someone moved a couple of doors to turn the second floor into 2 separate units that mirror each other, all done without permits. So if this board does allow this to become a 4-family, and in reality, it looks like it would be a 4-family. It looks like a good fit for a 4-family. The owner, Mr. Clifford, has acknowledged that there are multiple upgrades and updates that he would need to make in order to make it a legal 4-family under the building code. Those include, at a minimum, upgrading the sprinkler system to a 13R sprinkler system, where it's currently a 13D sprinkler system, which may require additional heads. It may require different hydraulic calculations, so it might have to have a bigger tank. We don't know, because they're going to have to do some calculations and engineering on that. It would also, he would have to decide whether he wants to separate the 2 units, electrical and plumbing, and or if he wants to pay for the tenants' electricity and hot water. He would have to make that choice. If he could do either or, because it's designed to all be one floor. And then he has to figure out whose water and whose electricity the laundry facility that's in a basement is coming off of as well, or he has to pay for the electrical for that. I believe he said he'd be switching it to an electric. He'd put it onto the house meter most likely and make an electric laundry so that it just alleviated the issue there.
Which unit is it attached to right now?
We don't know. We don't know who that laundry is attached to right now. But it's very clear from the plumbing that it was built by what appears like a pretty competent plumber who actually labeled, he put in a sort of manifold and labeled each of the branches off of the water, so with each unit number, so that if someone wanted to eventually submeter it, it would make it that much easier to submeter the water in the future, because it's all well labeled and such. So it would require some work and some upgrades. And then the parking spaces he did have, I believe, 8 spots, but they were non-conforming size for the spots. Mm-hmm. We did talk about the neighbor a bit and that vacant lot. And he said he has approached that neighbor to try to purchase it on at least one, if not more occasions. I don't remember how many he said. And that the neighbor wants pretty much triple what it's worth. And just unreasonable expectations for that lot. Mm-hmm. In reality, looking at that lot, it wouldn't fall under one of the undersized lot provisions that would allow even a single-family home currently.
And I believe the building that used to be on there has been gone for more than 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah. When you were examining the parking, I noted that the parking spaces were undersized. They were 9 by 16 instead of 9 by 18.
Yes.
How about the maneuvering aisle? Is it compliant, or is it undersized as well?
I believe it's undersized. I don't recall the exact dimension, but I also want to note that there's additionally that additional spot up at the end to the far right that could serve as an additional space or future snow storage or something that is available as well. That's not required for maneuvering area or anything.
What would you expect for a timeline for the work to be completed for the code-required upgrades that you discussed?
It really depends on his contractors and engineers on this. I would say at least 3 months to make whatever upgrades, because he has to coordinate with tenants. He has to get flow tests done for the water. For the sprinkler system, he has to design the sprinkler system, where I'm finding a lot of these engineers are running like a month or two behind right now with that, and then install those upgrades. And he has to decide whether he's going to pay for the electricity for that upstairs unit or not, as well as the gas for the upstairs units or not, because there are 3 gas meters as well.
Right, separate meeting room.
So it's at least 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your undertaking to do the inspection and the report on that. All right. I am going to go to public comment now. Do you have anything more you'd like to add before I do?
No, thank you.
I have something more to add that I just remembered. At the last meeting, we discussed whether you were willing to have that 4th unit be a 1-bedroom, and you indicated that you would. Is that still the case?
Yeah, the more I thought about that, I mean, if you were to look at the units, they're kind of shotgun style. So layout-wise, I think that would be difficult, and then cost-wise, obviously, there's a big burden here financially, and that's on me and my issue, but I would ask that it just be recognized as it is today, if that would be possible.
Another thing you brought up, Madam Chair, is the possibility of it being recognized as an accessory dwelling unit, which I think we determined with the help of Felix as well, that would not meet the requirements.
Okay. And I just wanted to be sure, because we recently had a discussion about the reading of the regulations on size limitations, that was after our discussion.
So it was after our discussion and my review of the regulations that we spoke, and what I said to them was that it's limited to either the 900 square feet or 50% of the largest unit in the building, whichever is smaller. Yes. And that would limit them. I believe we came to like 500 square foot space. But then the coordination of that, we tried to figure out if the layouts could work. It would eliminate, because of the shotgun style, that would eliminate one of the means of egress from that unit, which would make it less safe.
Right. Certainly not a result that we want to have.
Yes.
So, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any member of the public here today who would like to make a comment or ask a question on this matter? Ms. Squally, you're welcome.
Hi. I wrote a letter in support of this special permit application, and I emailed it to, I believe, everyone on the board. Dear members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, I'm writing to express my support for the petition to convert the use of the non-conforming 3-family structure at 34 Granite Street into a 4-family dwelling without increasing the structure's footprint pursuant to 181-94 of the Fitchburg Zoning Ordinance. I have outlined how this project meets the criteria for granting of a special permit. 181.9421, social, economic, or community needs which are served by the proposal. This project provides an additional quality housing unit in a walkable neighborhood within close proximity to downtown and public transportation, contributing to our city's need for diverse, quality housing stock in alignment with our ongoing housing goals. 181.9422, traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading. The property is adequate off-street parking for 4 units, and the applicant has been proactive in engaging city officials and departments, including conducting a site visit with the building commissioner and a ZBA board member, both of whom noted the conversion is appropriate and logical for the existing structure. 181.9423, adequacy of utilities and other public services. The building already operates with utilities and services for 3 units, and upgrades, including sprinkler installation and a code compliance assessment, have been planned for the 4th unit, with no undue burden will be placed on city services. 181.9424, neighborhood character and social structures. This property fits well within the neighborhood, and the 4th unit already exists physically within the structure. This is a de facto conversion that will bring the property into legal conformity and support housing stabilization. 181.9425, impacts on the natural environment, including drainage. There are no planned changes to the structure's footprint or exterior, and therefore no adverse environmental or drainage impacts are anticipated as a result of this conversion. 181.9426, potential fiscal impact, including impact on city services, tax base, and employment. Legalizing the existing 4th unit will have a positive fiscal impact through increased tax revenue and investment in code-compliant upgrades. Additionally, the quality upkeep of this property by the current owner reflects a strong commitment to responsible housing. Mr. Gleefort has demonstrated thoughtfulness, responsibility, and transparency throughout this process. As mayor, I appreciate his interest in investing in Fitchburg's housing stock in a way that aligns with the city's goals and the neighborhood's needs. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration of this petition.
Thank you, Mayor Squalio. We appreciate your taking the time to write that letter and to address the special permit conditions in the zoning ordinance. Is there any other member of the public who would like to make a comment or ask a question? Going to check online to see if there is any person. If so, please raise your hand. Okay. Seeing none, I am going to go to board member comment. Mr. Reynolds, as you were not here for the prior meeting, I'm not going to have you comment. Mr. Burns, do you have any comment on this matter?
Yes. The board was bamboozled by the prior owner who converted this dwelling without our knowledge. In fact, we said no not to do it. But we can't impact the current owner because of that. Brian and I had a conversation about his visitation to the site, and Brian and I both agree that as long as the applicant is willing to make all the building up to code with the fire suppression and the other things that are necessary, I would have no problem whatsoever voting for this particular action. Even though it grates me, I'll vote for it.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Mr. Talbot?
I agree with Mr. Byrne, and I trust Brian and Felix's opinion on it.
Thank you, Mr. Talbot. Mr. Gallagher?
Thank
And
you,
I
Madam
would
Chair.
particularly like to hear about your visit to the property, if you don't mind.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, I went out with Felix and we toured the building. What I had noted that the building currently lends itself perfectly to a 4th unit. That being said, the building was very clean inside, just good quality of work, and a willingness by the investor to make the proper upgrades to the property in terms of the sprinkler system, the electric, and I'm strongly in favor of it. So,
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. For myself, this is a case which really, frankly, presents a dilemma to me because we have an illegal unit that was built, not by you, but it was built. And the granting of your petition can be seen as an encouragement to people to simply do it anyway and then come and ask for forgiveness later on, particularly when the prior owner has experienced 0 fines, 0 penalties, and sold this property to you as a profit, and sold it with a 4th tenant in the unit. I do not out of sympathy to you, want to create a bad precedent that will encourage other people to violate the law, because what this board does as a minimum, which may be a fading concept, but I still believe in, is that we follow the rule of law. We follow the rule of law and we apply it to everybody equally. So your parking is not compliant as to size. I don't think you have the maneuvering aisle. I will say, having taken a relook at this, if you cross the line into a 4-family and there are 2 bedrooms or less for each unit, that the requirement becomes not 2 spaces per unit, but 1.5, so that the required number of spaces are 6. And I'd prefer to see the parking reconfigured with compliantly sized spaces and striped, because the striping back there that was put down was temporary spray paint. It was not striping. And I'd rather have 6 compliant spaces than 8 non-compliant spaces. So there is a resolution to maintaining compliance with an order of the ZBA and the building code and the sanitary code, and that is to actually have the annual inspections that are required for multifamily housing conducted. And I would like to see that, if the board allows this as a condition of the special permit, reconfiguration to compliant-sized parking spaces, striping with an as-built, and compliance with all upgrades necessary to a 4-unit building prior to occupancy. I don't have any indication that you're not going to be compliant with the law, but the previous owner was, and I don't know who the owner is going to be after you. But it will happen someday. So that's my commentary. Would you like to make any response to any of the issues raised by the board?
I'll have to double check. I do think we do have the maneuverability distance from back of parking space to the fence line. Even if I were to extend the parking spaces and make them code compliant, I think I still do have that. So I can verify that. Like you mentioned, it's kind of a temporary spray paint job. So as I have to redo that anyway, I'll verify that by making them code compliant, I still have the maneuverability. I can make those confirmations.
Okay.
Wait a minute. One more time.
Yeah, so there was a comment about maneuverability, which is, I think, just clearance from back of parking space to the fence line where you actually have to turn around.
Back up just a little bit. What about that 1-bedroom apartment? Are we going to take off that bedroom so that you only need 6?
Well, I think it was 2, and I think you said 2 or under, right?
When it goes to a 4-family or higher.
You asked him to take that back to a 1-family, a 1-bedroom.
I did.
That's what I'm talking about.
I believe he's just said he changed his mind, and the answer is no, he would not be willing to take it back to a 1-bedroom.
So he's going to have to stick with the 8.
So it's for a 4-family.
Yeah, it's going to have to
With
be
no
8.
more than 2 bedrooms each.
Yeah.
It's 1.5
So it's
spaces.
6.
So it's 6.
Okay, fine. I'm all set then.
Yeah, so I'd have extra, and if there's any concerns with snow in the future, then I could take away 2 and use that for surcharge.
Okay, no problem.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Any other board member? Okay. Unless you have anything additional to add, I'm going to close the public hearing and move to a vote. Okay,
Well, thank you.
thanks. Without objection, I'm going to close the public hearing. Right. Does any board member have anything further to offer on deliberation on their prospects of approving the application?
No, I think we should go ahead with it, with conditions, and go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I again have an issue with the bad precedent and enforcement, but looking at the unit, there were certain hopes for further green space available at the lot next door that caused me to vote against this petition in 2021. Having gone through a number of years, that has made several changes of ownership, and it is still not an option. As a personal comment, if you ever do have the ability to buy that, I think it would be preferable. With that said, I would vote in favor of this application subject to the following conditions. Number one, that the permit holder perform all building code and sanitary code and fire code required upgrades, including but not limited to the sprinkler system and the laundry utility charges prior to occupancy.
It's already occupied.
Prior to occupancy of the fourth unit. Number two, that the permit holder submit a modified parking plan depicting a minimum of 6 compliant parking spaces and measuring the maneuvering aisle, with space allocated for trash and recycling and snow removal. Third, that the property owner annually request and have performed an inspection of all units as required by code. Fourth, that the parking spaces be permanently striped according to the modified plan. Does any board member have a question or comment of any of the proposed conditions?
No.
Does anyone have a condition to add? Okay.
Make a motion that.
And we would have a review date. I think I would like to see the review when you are close to completion of that work. And I'm thinking that that means we should look at September. September is 5 months from now. 5 months from now. We don't have an August meeting, so it's July or September. And I don't want to have you come back if you're a long ways out from completion. Do you think you can be completed by July?
I will do my best.
So July is 3 months from now, and that would include upgrade of the sprinkler system?
Yeah, it's tough to comment on that. I just don't know the can of worms I'm opening up, but obviously speed is to my best interest. So,
what I'm going to do is schedule you for a September review and allow you to request a review in July if you are complete at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So review date, September 9th, 2025, with the applicant being able to request an earlier review to represent that the conditions are completed.
Well, will that decision be sent to us? Well,
Will the decision be sent?
yeah.
Yes.
Have a
Yes, the
list.
written.
Okay, thank you.
I try to state out the conditions during the meeting.
Right, no,
So
it,
that, A, Mercedes can write them down properly, and B,
Right.
you can go back and review the FATV video
Perfect.
tomorrow and see just review what the conditions are. Okay. I'd be looking for a motion on in the affirmative on the allowance of the special permit with the conditions as stated.
So moved.
Second?
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You needed all of us to pass tonight, which is yet another reason why I did not want to hold this meeting tonight, because with one board member voting no, you would have failed. You have received 4 votes. Your special permit has been granted. Good luck with the project, and good luck with the operation of the building.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Commissioner.
Madam Chair, note that this case is closed, but because Attorney Carboni did ask about the decisions, and I neglected to say this at the beginning of the meeting, or ask this at the beginning of the meeting, if we could take 1 second before our next hearing to recognize that we have a new part-time principal clerk stenographer. She is with us tonight. Nancy is sitting next to Mercedes. She joined us starting last week, and she will be with the office 19 hours a week, and hopefully in future years we'll be able to turn it into full-time, but it's starting at 19 hours a week. She will be the primary point for writing minutes and agendas once she and Mercedes have a transfer of knowledge on this. Nancy has a long history of writing legal notices and legal briefs, and she is a trained attorney who is studying for the bar currently, so she understands the legal processes that are needed for this. So I have high hopes of turning around these decisions much faster than we historically have, because we have the bandwidth and we have the knowledge base to do this. So hopefully that'll also take off some of the burden on the chair in her needs to redraft both the minutes and the decisions going forward.
As well as Ms. Mata, who works, I just want to say, tirelessly to get these decisions and minutes out.
Doing a yo person's job.
Yes.
Ms.
So,
Mata.
I want to express both that we are eternally grateful for all of the efforts that Ms. Mata has historically put into the board and continues to do so. And we are also truly grateful to have additional assistance to get the job done. So Nancy Gomez, correct? Yes. Ms. Gomez, welcome. Thank you for your efforts on behalf of the city, and we appreciate the ability to have an expanded personnel available to help the ZBA. So thank you.
And Madam Chair, just also to, because I don't think I've officially said it at these meetings since it was just made official less than a month ago, I believe, but Ms. Mata is officially the head clerk for the department now, not the principal clerk stenographer. So she's still very much involved. She's still going to be coming to the meetings if she chooses to come to the meetings and being the point person for a lot of this stuff. But she has taken on additional responsibilities in her role as head clerk.
Ms. Mata, as well as all city employees, I think, have had a very difficult time of it lately, and I truly appreciate all of their continued efforts to work for the city, despite that. And I welcome any continued involvement that Ms. Mata has with the zoning board. So, I am going to move to the next item on the agenda, and that is, I think, the item everybody has been waiting for. And then, sorry to keep you here, gentlemen. Thank you. No, you're all set. Thank you. I hope you have a good evening. And I appreciate everybody understanding the insertion of that matter on the agenda. The next matter we're going to call is ZBA 2023-08, Joanne Hamburg, 1341 Rindge Road. This is the review of the special permit under Section 181.94 of the Fitchburg zoning ordinance, issued after remand from the Worcester Superior Court Zoning Appeals, CA number 2385 CV 00600A, by consent of all parties and by order of the court to the Board of Appeals dated September 27, 2023, pursuant to Section 181.332, located in the Rural Residential District. Ms. Hamburg.
Hi. Joanne Hamburg, Real Estate Exchange, 54 Chase Road, Lunenburg. Good evening, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak tonight to update you on our progress. I'm pleased to share that we've made significant progress since our last update. I've been sending you monthly updates, so I'm sure that you're up to date on anything. The revised community building plans have been approved fully by the state and the Fitchburg Building Department. After a collective effort between the Fitchburg Building Department, our engineers Dillis and Roy, the building commissioner, and the state modular program, we successfully addressed all code questions and accessibility concerns and permitting requirements. As of March 21st, we received our final approval to move forward. The new modular...
Is that from the state or
from the city? From everybody, actually, the state and the city. The new modular community building has officially been ordered. I actually brought you guys a letter so that you can see that I actually have ordered it, and a 25% deposit was wired to Pleasant Valley Homes. We've coordinated with all our external contractors and engineers. The site prep has already begun. Vandel Construction has been out on the site cleaning it up and prepping the foundation so that Sampson Concrete can come in and install the footings and the foundation. Right now, they're scheduled to come out on April 28th to start putting in the foundation. Weather permitting, of course, but as long as we don't have a lot of rain, we'll see what happens. The building is expected to arrive in approximately 6 weeks, and they said a lot of it depends on windows. I guess they're having a delay with getting windows when they build these, but they're get me a date as soon as they know more on the windows, but it'll be about 6 weeks. We also recorded the amended order of condition with the Registry of Deeds and submitted all necessary documents to the Conservation Commission. The drainage inspection by your local engineers has been going on regularly, and I believe you received a letter from Nick. I did bring a copy from the City of Fitchburg engineers to finalize this condition and hopefully remove it from our conditions. It's been a team effort involving regular communication and coordination with Felix and everybody, and I want to thank everyone for their involvement and responsiveness and their support throughout the process. We're excited to move on to the next phase and look forward to delivering a beautiful, accessible space to service the residents at Woodland Estates. So I don't know, did you get the letter from Nick?
What I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, because I'm not sure that everybody saw it.
I brought one for this, and
Thank
then I made like several that the deposit was paid and So I think that we are finally on way. We've had a lot of hiccups along the way, and I know originally when we met at the last meeting, you had said that you would not allow me to have any more occupancy permits on my last 2 homes, which they were inspected and signed off back in September of last year. And I'm asking if you would consider to, grant their occupancy permits so that they can move in where the building is going to be started very soon, and everything is now in place.
Is there anything else you wanted to add on that?
Not at this moment.
And so I'm just going to clarify with you the letter from Pleasant Valley Homes indicating that the order has been submitted. That's dated April 7th, so that's dated today.
Today's the 7th?
I'm sorry.
Today's the
yesterday.
Yes, yesterday. Well, I ordered it, and I needed them to get a letter, and, it has to go through channels and all that good stuff. It took them a few days to get it to me.
So if I'm counting out 6 weeks from the order date for supposed delivery with the issue of possibility of window delay, what is the expected delivery date?
I need to calculate. Calendar 6 weeks from then would be, hold on. I think it's like the end of May. Yeah, sometime the end of May, the building should be here.
Okay, so that's more than 6 weeks from today.
Well, May 27th is 6 weeks, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks from now is the 20th.
Okay, and is May 27th the expected date?
They haven't given me an exact date yet.
Okay.
They're ordering all the supplies, The home building has not been started to be put together yet. They just ordered all the supplies. They've ordered the windows, and they're just waiting to see when all the supplies will be in.
What was the date that you placed the order for the?
I ordered it on March 21st.
Okay.
As soon as I got my approval from Felix.
And this is a letter that I'm going to summarize for the record and then pass around to board members. This is a letter from Ryan Colleen, the Assistant City Engineer, to whom it may concern. As requested, this letter is to serve as documentation of the performance of the Woodland Estates drainage system at the northernmost point of Nigel Court in Fitchburg, Mass. This is pertaining to the concern of standing water on the abutting property known as parcel S2229-0 or 0 Arnhow Farm Road, which is situated directly behind Woodland Estates. The changes previously made in 2024 include the addition of a stone swale directed towards a flared section of 12-inch drain pipe connected into the stormwater management system. The goal of this modified drainage is to convey surface waters from a low point along the abutter's property line. The engineering department has observed the area of concern on numerous occasions from July 2024 through present. Inspections were made during normal working hours of 7:30 to 3:30 on Monday through Friday following rain events. With the exception of March 6, 2025, no standing water was present. On March 6, 2025, snowmelt on the Woodland Estates property was melting and flowing towards the stone wick, where it was observed to be infiltrating. Snowmelt on parcel S2229-0 was observed to have formed a small pool. The aforementioned pool was about 3 to 6 inches deep, 4 feet wide, and more than 10 feet beyond the stone wall on parcels S2229-0. The temporary pool formed during spring snowmelt resulted from the slight irregularity of the melting snow cover and natural gradation of the forest floor. Nothing on the Woodland Estates property was impeding the movement of snowmelt. We have since returned to the site and no standing water was present on either property. Please note that Central Mass has been in critical drought status since October of 2024. So I'm going to circulate that between the board members so that they can read it. What is your expected date of completion for the
community building?
Community building.
It usually takes about 6 weeks to put the buildings together once they're here. So I'm hoping, 6 weeks after we'll be able to have it in.
Mid-July?
Yeah. If not sooner. I want to get it done yesterday.
I think we all hope for
Yes.
sooner.
Yes, it's a,
I think the one common point between this board, yourself, and every member of the community is that we'd like for these hearings to come to an end
I agree.
and for the project to be complete. I am going to move to public comment. Did you have anything you wanted to add before I do that?
No,
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hamburg.
no problem.
Did we have any other city department comment? Okay. Is there any member of the public, can we have a show of hands on how many people would like to make a public comment today? 1, 2, really only 2? And then we, 3, okay. And then we have 3 persons online that I think are probably here to make a comment, so.
I see hands up.
What I am going to do is go back and forth between public and virtual. I am going to start, ma'am, with you since I saw your hand first. And what we are going to do is give everybody 5 minutes to speak, which I think is hopefully enough for everybody. And if you'll give me just a moment. Dan, I would like some help, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, do I press, there we go.
I want to make sure the
I think I remembered this. This part wasn't working immediately, so I want to make sure. So at what time should the yellow light turn on? 45 seconds, good?
Yes.
All right, so
So then start when I start.
yeah, start when you start, and when they're done talking, hit the reset button.
Thank you very much, Dan.
You're welcome.
We haven't done a timed speaking in a while. So with yourself and everybody else, I'm going to ask you to start with your name and city of residence for the minutes, and then you are welcome to speak on this matter for 5 minutes.
Okay, my name is Paula Valente. I live in Lunenburg, but I'm a real estate broker for Real Estate Exchange. I'm a buyer's agent for the 2 properties that are currently on deposit on Nigel Court. I'm here to respectfully request the issuance of occupancy permits for the properties located at 171 and 175 Nigel Court. The buyers, Mike and Donna Rainier, as well as Michael and Virginia Howden, have encountered various challenges that have delayed their ability to move into their new homes. I would like to provide an overview of their situations and kindly ask for your consideration in granting the necessary permits. Mike and Donna Rainier are currently living in an apartment while waiting to move into their newly built home, which was completed in September of 2024. They were approved for a loan to purchase the property and paid a $400 appraisal fee to the lender, with the appraisal being valid for 120 days. During this time, they have diligently submitted required paperwork monthly to keep the loan updated. Unfortunately, the 120-day window for the appraisal has expired, and the Rainiers now have to pay an additional $400 for a new appraisal. Moreover, they have been required to continue paying rent on their apartment instead of putting those funds toward their mortgage. Michael and Virginia Howden are currently living in the in-law portion of their property in Leominster, where they have had their home on deposit since January of 2025. The main part of the house is vacant, as they have been living in the in-law unit. Their buyers are eager to move in and occupy both units with family members, which is why the Howdens are hoping to finalize the sale and move into their new home as soon as possible. 171 Nigel Court, being the last home built in Woodland Estate, has become especially meaningful to the Howdens. They have fallen in love with the community and strongly feel that it is the perfect place for them to settle down. The Howdens do not want to lose the opportunity to be part of this wonderful neighborhood, and they are eager to make their permanent home. They believe the Woodland Estates is an ideal community for them, and they are excited to be part of it. Given these circumstances, both sets of buyers are facing significant delays and financial strain as they continue to wait for necessary occupancy permits. We respectfully request that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the issuance of these permits for 171 and 175 Nigel Court at your earliest convenience. This will allow all families to move forward with their plans, avoid further hardship, and begin settling into their new homes. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. We sincerely hope that you will take these challenges into account and approve occupancy permit for the aforementioned properties. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comment. Right, I am going to now go to the person with their hand up online, and that is Councillor Fleming. Councillor Fleming, I will warn you when there's 45 seconds left, but otherwise you are welcome to speak for up to 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, so I did write a statement, and I think I'd actually like to start with my final paragraph, seeing as we're talking about occupancy permits and new people coming into the neighborhood. How I wanted to end my statement was with, I would like to add, with any new resident purchasing in this neighborhood, that he or she be given the courtesy of knowing the complicated history of this development. No one should be blindsided after they have made a purchase. So right there, I'm not sure if these new buyers were given the history of this development. But now I'll continue with what my statement, the way it was going to begin. Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight, not just as the Ward 5 Councilor for Woodland Estates residents, but also for the abutters of this community. It is crucial that we ensure every single criterion set forth by this developer has been thoroughly met before we consider issuing new occupancy permits. We have navigated a long and often challenging path, and it is imperative that we hold the developer accountable to their obligations. It is important to ensure that all requirements are satisfied tonight for the sake of the Woodland Estates community as well as the abutters. I'd like to add that how many times has the developer come forward and said, we've got everything, it's under control, it's going to be done by such and such a date, and then all of a sudden we have these massive complications that stop the project, halt the project. The last thing I heard is they weren't going to put a recreation center in. Now the recreation center is coming back in. I really hope that we get in writing that everything is going to be done by the dates provided, because at this point, I cannot hold the word of this developer any longer. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Councillor Fleming. All right. Who would like to make a comment or ask a question? Please raise your hand. Ma'am, you're welcome to speak for up to 5 minutes. Please state your name and city of residence.
Hi for me. Thank you very much. Hello. My name is Virginia Howden and my husband's Michael Howden. We started to look for a new home, haven't looked anywhere else other than the fact that I had a friend who'd been looking for a development of 55 and over in New Hampshire. So I had extensively looked in New Hampshire with her for her fit for what she needed. So we decided that we would look around where we live, because I have a disabled daughter who lives in Lunenburg. We also have 2 dogs. So when you Google and you say, retirement community 55 and above that is pet friendly, there's very few that pop up, but this one did. So we went and had a look and we fell in love with it. There was nothing about the place that I didn't like or anything else. Now, in response to the person who was on the telecom just now, I have gone through 3 new house builds from start to finish, and I totally understand the backlogs, the delays, the construction issues, how things get timelined out. It's not a cookie cutter, you can bake a cake and have it ready in 2 hours. It's not like that. Now, I put my house, I saw this place, we put in an offer the next day, and 2 weeks later, we put our house on the market. In the weekend that followed, we had an open house. We had 48 people go through the house, and we had 4 offers on that property. So my house became sold with a selling of and a closing date of the 15th of this month. We sent an email to yourself over here and asking what our problems, what issues would be because of the fact of the occupancy permit. Now, that has caused a lot of stress for my husband and myself, as we're both seniors. And it has caused a lot of issues because of the fact we have people who want to buy our home. It's very difficult for me to move out. I have nowhere to go. I have to stay in my home. I have 2 dogs. It's not easy for me to go into a motel or a hotel while this building comes along, as and when it will do. So I am at your mercy. I have up until Tuesday of this week to decide whether or not I'm leaving my home and I'm losing my buyer. And that's the reality of it. Now, I live in Leominster. I will be an able-bodied community person here in Fitchburg. And so, therefore, I'm asking you to release the permits for these 2 homes, because we do believe in Joanne. And we do believe that this place is going to be built. That is why we want to go into a 55 and above, because people like us, we want community. We want other people around us who are like-minded. And, as we all know, if you're a partner, one of you is probably going to die before the other. And if you've made friends in your community with like-minded people, your spouse or your partner will be left with somebody who they can rely on, a neighbor, a walker, somebody who walks your dog with you. You don't get that in a regular neighborhood, and we don't have that where we are now, which is the reason why we want to move. And that is why we want to move to Nigel Court. I'm in my 70s, and so is my husband, and this will be our last home together. And if I go before him, he will stay there. And if he before me, he will stay there. But that's what we're facing, and that's at our age that we look at those questions, we look at those decisions, and they're different decisions to when you're in your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s. You may not even think like that. So I implore you to release them. The homes are there. We're ready to move in. And the other couple that also want to move in and be our new neighbors are ready to move in too. They're getting expenses that they didn't need to. We're all looking at trying to release this money so that we can live on our Social Security and our funds and have to be able to have a healthy life. As we all know, medicals are going up, everything's not being covered like it used to be. And we have to make these important decisions. And I implore you, each and every one of you of this committee, to release those so that we can carry on with our lives and live happily. Because the building will be completed. And I have said, I've gone through 3 house builds, and each one of them took a lot longer. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
What was your name, Mrs. Holmes?
Virginia Holmes.
Ma'am, what was your name? Virginia?
Yes, Virginia Howden. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Was that somebody's phone? If
It goes
so,
to timer.
thank you, Mr. Reynolds. I don't think I've ever had the timer ding. All right. We're going to go back to remote. If anyone would like to speak on this matter, please raise your hand.
Christine,
Seeing none remote, would anybody present like to speak on this matter? You're welcome, Mayor Squalia.
I'd just like to lend my support to allowing the occupancy permits for the units. The residents, like the previous speaker said, the community that they have there is really great. And what I hear anecdotally from the residents generally, I mean, almost overwhelmingly rather, is that they enjoy this community. They want this community. They want to increase the. They want to have the occupancy permits. I've heard from numerous residents who are trying to buy the property or are having these delays over the last year, and really they just support the continued movement forward with occupancy and residency. I believe that we are moving forward on satisfying the requirements as it comes to the community building. So I would really like to see us move forward with allowing people to move into these homes and occupy these units. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Squalia. Is there any other person present who would like to make a comment or ask a question on this matter? Sir, you're welcome. Please come to the podium. State your name and city of residence.
My name is Peter Berger, resident of Fitchburg, always lived in Fitchburg. And I've heard about Woodland Estates from a friend many years ago, about a trailer park on Rindge Road. And one day going up and down the road, I saw this dirt road going in there. And over the years, I investigated it. Since about 3 years from the time I first talked to Joanne till the time I purchased it, which is July 2020. Basically, after I purchased it, you were selling 7 houses a year. I know it was slow before that, and it was looking like the project was going to be completed in no time. Now, I was made aware of the planning board meeting of April 22, where a whole bunch of the abutters wanted the project done, shut down in 6 months. Well, the board ruled against the abutters, and then a cease and desist came up. And then the city got involved, and basically all that's happened, it's been delaying the completion of the project. And in my opinion, the way the project was going, if it was left alone, it could possibly have been done and finished in 2023. And the other thing I'd like to add, I've been watching the drainage. I've only seen water twice. One was the snow melt, and the other time was, I think it was St. Patrick's Day. And both times, there was very couple inches of water. So that's basically all I have to say. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir, for your comment and participation. Is there any other person present who would like to make a comment or ask a question on this matter? Please raise your hand. Going to go one last time to anyone online who would like to make a comment or ask a question. Please raise your hand. I am going to read one communication that I received on this matter. So there was a communication in email by email from Kathy Deschamps in November. I was approached by Joanne on November 18th regarding purchasing some land that 3 of the sheds from the new trailers are on. She indicated that there was a mistake in the previous land markers were not correct, almost 8 feet of difference. I have asked to have the team doing the survey put flags up so I can clearly understand where my land starts. I think she should do it for all the abutters so they know as we wrap up the development. She's preparing a purchase agreement. She also now understands my concerns why I requested planting of trees. She agreed to plant evergreen trees or shrubs in the spring. I want both items noted as provisions. And then the update is from March 24th. Wanted to let you know we are still working through the request to purchase some land, which they built sheds on and a deck on. The current proposal is not acceptable. Joanne is having it updated. Also, one of her residents is moving large branches onto my property. We never had an issue with leaves, but no huge branches. And then there's a request for the Zoom link for the meeting. Last meeting, I want to note that we had received a communication received a communication from, I believe it was from Mary Ellen Christian, forwarding some photos of the standing water that has been discussed on the property. That was consistent with the March date for snow melt that has been discussed. I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond to the email about the land, and then it is 8:18. I would like to take a 5-minute break, and then we can come back to this meeting.
Just so you know, I'm talking to Kathy, and we're going to put up a fence instead.
Okay.
When it's all been worked out.
Was there a built-upon encroachment?
The sheds are right on the line, and it was just the way everything is marked. But we've worked it out between us, and we should be all set shortly.
Okay, thank you. All right, without objection, I'm going to take a 5-minute break so that we can all prepare ourselves for the next half of this meeting. Thank you. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the April 8th, 2025 meeting of the Fitchburg Zoning Board. We are continuing on the matter currently before us, which is ZBA 2023-08, 1341 Rindge Road. So We just had a fair session for public comment. I am going to ask, before we go away from public comment, whether there is anyone else who would like to speak. If so, please raise your hand. I see none here in person. I see none online. Okay. So, Ms. Hamburg, if you want to approach again, what I'm going to do is go through any comments from board members and questions. Mr. Byrne, I'm going to go to you first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This particular project has been going on for at least 20 years now. It was all started because a mistake was made by either the planning board or the zoning board way back then, and they didn't put an end date, end of construction date on the permit that they gave you. And I have to say you took very good advantage of that. You ran this program for 20 years, making one flat, selling it, making two more flats, dragging your feet all the time because there was no end date on your permit. Way back then, Joanne, you used as an incentive to buy some of your lots the promise of a community building, which was going to be built so that members of your community could have a place to hang out, meet in the summertime, which was a great, wonderful idea. Had that building been built 20 years ago, it would have probably cost you nothing compared to what it's going to cost you now. I have sincere condolences for Mr. and Mrs. The lady who spoke before, for buying, but I don't know why you would sell a house when you knew that we told you right here, Mike McLaughlin, myself, and the other members of the board said to you, you are not going to get occupancy permits for those slabs until the community building is finished. And yet you sold these people pie in the sky because they can't move in until this board gives you an occupancy permit, which we are not going to do until, or I'm not going to vote for it until this community building gets built, because that's what you promised people 20 years ago when they bought your property.
Can I respond?
When Mr. Byrne is finished.
Okay, I think I have said what I want to say. The community building is what we want finished before we relinquish those, because it seems like that's the only thing that's driving you to finish.
So,
and it was supposed to be done last September, and you kept saying, well, we can't do it now because of this, we can't do it now because of that, we're changing the shape of this, we're changing the photography here, we've got too much land, too much granite in the ground here, we can't do this, we can't do that. I'm sorry, you made us a promise. It's not coming through. So I can't go along with it until you complete your promise to us. Now you can.
Thank you. You're welcome. So first off, the community building was always planned. It was always part of our, I never once said it was going to be first. When you're building a development like this, unfortunately, I don't have tons of funds. I've had to do this as we go along. I've had to obtain loans as we go along. And a community building does not make us any money or add to the improvement of the community so that people can live there and have utilities and expenses that need to be installed.
I understand.
The building that was approved originally, unfortunately, was on a knob of ledge. I came back here and asked for permission to hammer it, and it was denied. So unfortunately, I've had lots of delays because of cease and desist, not being able to hammer, and there's been a lot of limitations placed on me since this started. We've had no issues until probably the last couple years, and until then, we've never had a problem. We've had no problems with the engineering department, the sewer department, the water department, the building department, until the last couple years. So I don't understand
And it
why
wasn't- I
this
don't
is
think
such a
it's
big
them.
deal.
I don't think it's these people that are giving you a problem. I think it's your neighbors because of that hammering and the continued
Well, we don't need to get into an
hustle-bustle
argument.
for 20 years.
Argument over it. It takes time to do construction. And unfortunately, that site is all ledge, and it takes time. And the easiest way to be able to remove it is to either blast it or hammer it. And that's the only way we could do it, unfortunately. So the community building will go in. I never said it would be first. It's last, because it's not it's an asset as a use, but it doesn't help improve the community by adding water, storage, or electrical. And the money from the sale of these homes helps to be able to go back into the project. So I hope you can understand why the building is last. And if it's costing me more, that's my issue and not the board's. Thank you.
Mr. Byrne, anything
I'm
else?
finished.
Mr. Reynolds?
Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Mr. Talbot?
No, thank you.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, Madam Chair. On a more positive note, in fact, even today when I came to your site, I noticed a vast improvement in your water situation there and the overall appearance of your park. It looked very nice, so I just wanted to add that. And I see that you've excavated the hole which for the activity center, which tells me that you have full intent to move forward, and that was very enlightening, so thank you.
Well, I said from day one, I planned on putting a community building. This community, I designed to create a community, not just a neighborhood where nobody talks to everybody. I want my residents to know each other. I designed the community so that the mailboxes, the trash, the outdoor activity area, and the community center are all in the same area, so people will mingle and get to know each other and can make friends and do things together, not just living in a neighborhood and not know your neighbor. And I think that I've accomplished that. Yes, maybe it's taken me a little longer than some developers, but this is my first project, and it was a big project. And I did not walk away from it. I was here every day, and I've fought from the day one to complete it. And I'm not going anywhere until it's done. So you can count on that. I would like to request the occupancies for these folks because there's no reason to hold them up, because this building is something I'm going to build, and it's something I've always said I was going to build. So I don't see why holding these people accountable or those 2 occupancy permits needs to be done.
Mr. Gallagher, anything further?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to Mr. Byrne's statement. The board has just cause in wondering whether you are going to finish the building if we release the occupancy permits. Because as you have stated, and I acknowledge it is a rational position to hold as a developer, it's going to cost me money, it's not going to be making me money, it's the last thing I want to do. We experienced for months comments, letters, questions from your residents asking us to not make you build that community building. And I don't believe that you were not involved with the submission of those letters. And again, I understand why. This financial motivation is not to build the building, but the plan that you submitted to us, the plan that was approved, the plan that you drew up, included this community building.
Yes, it
and
did.
that is why the board has enforced the building of the community building. It is part of your plan that was approved. Additionally, as you well know, this is a rural residential property. This is a construction that would not have been allowed. It was allowed due to a series of circumstances. And when we look at the issues raised, and I say issues, but what I really mean is this: a densely constructed neighborhood geared towards persons age 55 or older should be supported by services So it should have a community center. It should have easy access to retail and grocery stores. It should be easily accessible by emergency vehicles. There should be a walkable community. And the community center is vital to providing the services that the residents of this community need. And it needs to be constructed, and the fact that it has not been constructed 18 years into the project is certainly a concern of the city, because the city has to look at the concerns of the developer, the concerns of the residents, and the concerns of the abutter, and find the balance between them. This is a self-inflicted problem. I am very sympathetic to the persons who bought the last 2 units with the hold on them. I don't understand why they were advertised for sale. And like Mr. Byrne, I am not willing to release the last 2 units. But in trying to think of a resolution for this problem, which is that the city needs a guarantee that you're going to complete the work. And we now have people who have bought but are out of a home. I'm going to ask you this. Are you willing to exchange the 2 units for a performance guarantee?
I don't know what a performance guarantee is.
A subdivision, which this is, subdivision plan approved, by statute, can have a performance guarantee. That can be a bond, that can be a security that is backed up by a mortgage holder. The statute sets forth, I believe, 4 different forms of performance guarantee. Are you willing to submit a performance guarantee that we would have to have our council look at to make sure it conforms with the statute in order to have the last 2 occupancy certificates released?
I just don't know what's involved with doing it. I mean, I could run it by my attorney. The other thought I had is, what about releasing them once the foundation's in? I hope to have the foundation in by the end, well, beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May. What about releasing the occupancy permits once the foundation's in? Because then you know we've at least gone that far. I have no intentions of not building it. A lot of the residents said they didn't want it, and I said, well, if you don't want it, tell the board. I don't care either way, but I planned on building it. This was my community. I dreamed to have a nice community where people could get together and hang out and enjoy each other's company. So the community building, to me, is a mute conversation, because it's going in, and now that we finally have the actual approved plans for a building that will fit, where we've already excavated, we know we don't have the ledge to worry about, and we're ready to move forward. So what about releasing them once we have the foundation in?
Each board member can certainly express their thoughts on that. That is not sufficient for me to vote in favor of that.
Because I don't know what's involved with doing the other thing. I don't know how long that takes or what's involved in it. I've just never done that,
So in other cases, we have, instead of a bond, required the deposit of funds which would be released upon completion of the project.
And what would you want?
The question. It would have to be large enough to cover the costs of completion of construction if you failed to do so.
That kind of ties up funds for building it.
It does. That's why people.
So that kind of puts you in a catch-22 here, you know?
A bond is a guarantee that doesn't cost the same amount of money as a deposit.
I'd be willing to look into it, but I don't know enough about it at this moment to say yes, you know, and I don't know like how long it takes to do that. And that's why I'm saying, I mean, what about we get the foundation in, Felix or one of the inspectors inspects it, and you know that the foundation's in, and then release the occupancy permits.
I've stated my position on that. I'll go to the other board members. Mr. Talbot?
I'd be agreeable to that.
Mr. Gallagher?
I'm in favor of leaning towards what you're proposing, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Byrne? Would you be willing to release the occupancy permits once the foundation is in?
If we got a bond, a performance bond, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, I'd look to amend it to this middle-of-the-road solution.
With the bond? So I think you have an answer that the foundation alone would not get you a sufficient vote.
Okay, so if I get a bond, what amount does it need to be? And what do I just send it to Mercedes and let you know? I just don't know how that's handled.
I think what needs to happen, and I'm frankly looking for a solution here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what is going to need to happen is I'm going to have a discussion with Mr. Commissioner. I'm going to have a discussion with City Solicitor as to what would be an appropriate amount for the bond and what terms of the bond are required under the statute.
Can we do that tonight so that we don't have any more delays?
It is not possible for me to do that tonight.
Okay.
We have a meeting scheduled on April 24, and we have two other matters that night, and I've split the agenda because our agenda tonight was so long. So what I would be willing to do at the April 24 meeting is, I think, report the results of the discussion. I really don't want to have another big meeting on this issue because it's going to go so late, and we are requiring so many people to be here. But we could make that report, which would give you some time to decide whether or not you would be willing to do it. I am sure informal discussions can also take place between yourself and the building department.
I mean, I'm sure if the bond's easy to get, I don't think that would be any big deal. I just, what amount? Would it be 100,000, 50,000?
Again, that's why
I guess that's what I would need to know to be able to price it out or at least make some calls so that I can line it up. Because I'm not opposed. I'll do whatever. I just want to get the project done.
So there's a statute on this for a reason, and I want to make sure we comply with it because it sets forth standard terms for a performance bond on a subdivision. I also want to say, changing topic, that I visited on Sunday, and the area of the circle where the
cul-de-sac
water issue, yes, the cul-de-sac, and all of the land around it. I was very glad to see that the loaming and seeding had been done and the growth had happened, and it's really looking good back there.
Thank you.
I did not see any water, and I was there approximately an hour after the rain stopped. I did not see any water in the abutters' land. I did not see any water on the culvert. I am wondering whether the construction vehicle is going to slide a little bit into the hole. You trust?
No.
You're very trusting with perching that right there above the foundation hole. I was also approached by several residents while I was there who were concerned about the constant delays in the construction of the building and wanted to see it completed. And I think sometimes that happens outside of your presence because you are the landlord in this case. So those are my comments. I'd like to, it's 10 of 9.
Are we all set then with the drainage issue?
I think I would like to, in that satisfied, if the board will agree, and that is condition number 10 on the special permit. Drainage to be diverted from a butter's property per Dillis and Roy plan dated August 13th, 2023, and screening provided, both to be constructed and maintained pursuant to the requirements of the Conservation Commission, DPW, and DEP. I believe that condition has been satisfied at this point in time. but we'll take a vote on it to see if anybody has a contrary opinion. That leaves the outstanding conditions, other than conditions that are continuing in nature, at number 27, 28. 27 is the certificate of occupancy. 28 is construction of the recreational unit substantially in accordance with plan, as amended, with an as-built plan to be submitted to the building department upon completion of the recreational unit. 29, the proposed location change of the recreational unit shall be submitted to the building department to be reviewed as to its location inside or outside the wetlands buffer zone.
And that's all set?
And the permit holder shall comply with any requirements of the CONSCOM and shall comply with any conditions or orders of conditions that are issued by either body. Do you confirm, Mr. Commissioner, that has been satisfied?
I believe so.
Okay. Would you like us to deem that satisfied, or would you like an opportunity to review?
I think I deem it satisfied.
Thank you. So that was condition 29. 30 was the hold on the final 2 residential units. Upon full completion of the project, with all conditions having been met and all inspections with city departments completed. And 31 was the ongoing monthly report, which has been satisfied to date, I will note.
Thank you.
But depending on the resolution, I don't know if we're going to have you continue to do that until completion happens.
I'm working on this month's anyways.
So I'm going to leave it for now. So that means the proposal would be that conditions 10 and 29 have been satisfied. Can I ask any board member who has a comment or any opposition to that? No?
I have a question first.
Please go ahead.
Condition 27. So it says see condition 30. We marked 27 as satisfied? So we don't need to keep rereading it?
Well, that did refer to conditions 10 and 14. And 10, we've just noted, I think is satisfied, and 14 was the recreation unit servicing the development residents shall be completed and open for use by the residents. Recreation building to be at least 28 by 48 and consistent in design with the remaining neighborhood structures. So I would say that condition number 14 remains outstanding until that has been completed. But thank you for noting it. I appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Okay. So I would be looking for a vote to continue to the review to April 24, 2025, and it's going to be the last item on the agenda. I just want to warn you.
I usually am.
I'll second.
But if we don't mind modifying the motion.
I don't mind.
And we note that conditions 10 and conditions 29 of the existing special permit have been satisfied. Okay. So
Will I not know?
I hope not.
So somebody will reach out to me with what they feel, okay. Because, I mean.
And so let me take the vote first.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? So that passes. This is what I expect to happen. We've discussed a possible resolution. That resolution needs to be discussed between the building department and the city solicitor, hopefully with some input on my part, and then a proposal of what an appropriate bond would look like, both in amount and terms. And they're going to look at the statute relative to subdivision performance bonds. That should be communicated to you. But it will need to end up being voted on by the board in order to approve it. So
even if you let me know that it has to be, say, $100,000, when the board meets, they could say it could be different.
So the
I
board
can't
could.
put it in place, is what I'm saying.
No, the board could do that. But what I expect is for the city solicitor and the building department to give us a range that would be appropriate under the statute. And I certainly think you can work with that on the high and the low end.
All right.
Okay?
I'll look into it tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So this matter is continued until April 24th. Anybody who would like to attend, you're welcome to attend virtually. As I said, I don't think I really want to have an extended comment period at that point in time, given that we've had one today. You are also welcome to participate virtually, and you should look on the city's agenda center on its website for the exact time that the hearing would start on or after. Okay? All right. That matter is continued to April 24th. Thank you, everybody.
Motion to adjourn?
Not yet.
No?
So, as in our published agenda, we had two more matters who were published, and there was a notation that, I've stolen the agenda and put it somewhere, Mercedes. There it is. That the proposal was to be continued until April 24th. As these were advertised, we do need to open and continue. It is past 8 o'clock, so we are free to call both matters. First calling ZBA 25-3. This is Todd Anderson, 208 Bemis Road. This is a request for a special permit under Section 181.333 of the City of Fitchburg Code to alter the pre-existing non-conforming 6x6 freestanding sign by installing a 35 by 63 LED message center into the pre-existing non-conforming sign frame constructed less than 10 feet from the side property line, which may flash, rotate, make noise, move, or give the illusion of moving, as prohibited by Section 181.5362 pursuant to Section 181.94, located in the neighborhood business district. So, I am, without objection, going to open the public hearing. I don't believe that the applicant is here, as he was informed that there would be a request for continuance. But I was informed by the building commissioner that there is one person present who wanted to make a comment on the matter. And I'm going to accommodate that before we have the motion to continue, in the interest of giving you the opportunity as you are here. So if you are able to make a brief comment, you're welcome to do so. Please state your name and city of residence, and then you're welcome to speak.
Okay. I'm Diane Tusignan, and I live on Bemis Road. I appreciated getting the notice that there was going to be a hearing, and it's okay that it didn't happen tonight. There's a lot of other stuff going on. But I wanted to just voice my objection to having that type of signage on Bemis Road. It's you come across the John Fitch Highway, there are a lot of bright signs. The Credit Union, even St. Bernard's Elementary, there are a lot of bright flashing signs, and I just don't think that that's the right place to put it. They have a sign there that, in my opinion, it works. They do a great business. They're good neighbors, but I think that in respect for, kind of dimming the lights just a little bit, not having so much excitement in a neighborhood with a light that possibly, I don't know what the sign was going to look like, but it sounds like they wanted to have something that possibly might flash, rotate, make noise, move, or give the illusion of moving. I just don't think that I would like that in my neighborhood, and there are a lot of other families in the neighborhood also. I can't speak for them, but I guess that's...
And where are you located in relation to the sign?
Where am I located? I live in the same area coming from under the Bemis Road, the railroad bridge. Come under that bridge, and our house sets way in the back. So it's not something that's going to actively distract me or disturb me. I just think that other people who live closer to it, and there are apartments and families and older people and young people there also, but I can't speak for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming and participating. Appreciate it. As I did offer one chance to speak, is there any other person who wanted to speak on this matter? So I'm just going to note that there will be a longer opportunity to speak at April 24th meeting. Therefore, I'd like to entertain a motion to continue this matter until April 24th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? The matter is continued to April 24th, and I believe that that is at 6:30 p.m.? Okay. The next matter that I'm going to call is ZBA 25-4, John Collins, 39 Arlington Street. This is an appeal to overrule the building commissioner's 2/6/2025 zoning determination under section 181.92 of the Fitchburg zoning ordinance that the premises would be used as boarding or lodging house, which use is prohibited in the residential B district under section 181.313A5, and which use was not disclosed on the form of intent FI 24-218. Proposal to continue the use as a single-family dwelling, requesting that the cease and desist order on the building permit B-24-1328 be lifted. Applicant also requests a reasonable accommodation on the basis that the premises have a possibility of being operated as a sobriety house, so-called, for individuals in recovery from substance abuse who are therefore disabled individuals entitled to protection under state and federal law and reasonable accommodation from zoning requirements. The premises is located in the residential B district. And it was noted that we would hear a motion to continue this matter to April 24th, 2025.
So moved.
Before we move on that, I just want to note that this has happened, but also that it was communicated to the applicant. The city has received a successful decision from the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts in the case of Bach Realty v. the Fitchburg Zoning Board of Appeals. This is on a similar topic, a request for a Dover Amendment exemption from zoning. And the board members may remember this case as a 12 versus 13 residents of a so-called sober home operated as a lodging house. Due to the efforts of our our city solicitor, our insurance counsel, and very much according to the efforts of our former city solicitor, Attorney Pusteri, the city has received a very successful outcome in that case. I did note that to the petitioners in this case so that they would have an opportunity to the response to the change in law that has occurred due to the efforts of the city of Fitchburg. I also want to note that this is a long-time issue that has been supported by the building department, the Board of Health, and the fire department, and that a lot of people along the way have put a lot of effort into the successful conclusion of this case, and I appreciate all of the efforts that have been made. With that said, I will be sure that a copy of the decision is circulated to all board members prior to the April 24th hearing so that they have the opportunity to look at the change and think about its impacts in the context of the discussion of that case. With that being said, I'm going to note that the applicant has executed a extension agreement should there be any time issue for the next meeting and was fully supportive of the extension. May I have a motion to continue to the next meeting at April 24th?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed? The matter is continued to April 24th, 2025. With that, I would love to entertain your motion to adjourn. Yes.
Good night, Zonies.
All right.
Second.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.